Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the DADA'S show, coming to you straight from the Boma Hotel here in Nairobi. I'm your host, Ashikombune. Now, let's face it, losing weight is hard. It's even harder for women than it is for men. According to research, this is purely based on our hormonal and our metabolic differences. Now, weight loss warriors have used multiple avenues, from being gluten-free to rigorous workout plans to intermittent fasting to prayers at times, for them to find the perfect regime or method that suits their lifestyle. Finding what works for you and what you love and what you will be able to stick to when the ups and downs come rolling in is what most of us struggle with. So today we shall find out from experts what we are doing wrong, what we need to do more of, and what we need to do differently in order for us to achieve our health and fitness goals. We will also have an opportunity to talk to some successful people who have been able to be on this particular weight loss journey in a bit to get some encouragement to also encourage them in return. As always, we encourage you at home to take part in this conversation. Keep this conversation going on all our social media platforms at the KBC Channel 1. Share your thoughts, your opinions, words of encouragement on this, on any other topic that we have had on this show or any other show. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the following feature.
Overweight and obesity rates continue to rise globally and are associated with increased chronic diseases, morbidity, and mortality.
My wedding day should have been the best day, but people definitely mistreated me at the stores. As soon as I walked in, they gave me looks just because of my size. Almost like I wasn't worthy of getting married just because I was overweight. I wasn't living, I was just existing.
There is evidence of high overweight and obesity prevalence in Kenya. However, a gap exists in the knowledge of national prevalence and predictors of overweight and obesity.
I have always been overweight my entire life. I didn't do anything but go to work, come home, sit on my couch, and eat every single day. And it wasn't living, I was just existing. I was a prisoner in my own body. I knew nothing about nutrition. I knew nothing about cooking healthy. I knew nothing about portion control. I would say I probably ate over 6,000 calories a day. I suffered from joint pain. I suffered with being fatigued all the time. I could barely walk a block without being out of breath or climb stairs. I was afraid to die.
Overweight and obesity is a clear public health challenge given its association with increased risk of several ailments such as heart disease, cancer, and type 2 diabetes, the leading causes of morbidity and mortality worldwide.
January 1st, 2016, and that's when it all changed. I had to save my own life because I didn't think I was going to live to see 30.
Due to the health risk associated with obesity, many Kenyans, both ordinary and celebrities, are keen on maintaining a healthy lifestyle through fitness.
We came together as a family, as a community, and we finished the challenge that was in front of us, and that was very, very exciting. So I urge everyone to come through, try CrossFit. It's for everyone. We are going to meet you where you are in terms of your fitness level, so don't be afraid.
Pretty Purity, as she is famously known on all our social media platforms, weighed a whopping 124 kilograms. Deep down, she knew it was an unhealthy lifestyle that she was leading. Her weight had increasingly become a threat to her life, and that is how her journey of losing weight began. Since then, she has so far lost around 54 kilograms, up from 124 kilograms. There are many benefits of being healthy. As for Purity, the feeling is priceless, as seen in her daily posts.
Welcome back. Joining me today is a wonderful panel of, like we mentioned, health and fitness experts. And of course, we are also joined with weight loss warriors who are here, and others are even seated in the audience. So right next to me, we have Millicent Ongoche, who is a nutritionist. And next to her, we have Mercy Tuwei, who is a health and nutrition coach. And next to Mercy, we have Mrs. Julie Oseko, who is a weight loss warrior. And we also have in our audience Miss Aisha Prudence, who is also another weight loss warrior who we are privileged to have. Of course, I would also like to acknowledge my wonderful audience. Thank you so much for taking time off your busy schedule to be able to join me on the DADA'S show as we discuss health and fitness, my weight loss journey. That's the topic of the day. So let's get into it. Millicent. Yes. So let's get into the biology of it all. Most women, me included, had never had a problem losing weight before we got to 30 years old. When we were 30, dropping weight, gaining weight, maintaining weight was a walk in the park, you know. But as we get older, our bodies don't respond to our weight loss efforts as easily. They refuse to comply, and all of a sudden it's like the attack of hamburgers past, you know. So what explanation does science offer to this? Because clearly we do not understand. There has to be some science behind it. Please, Millicent.
Yeah, there's a lot of science that this has to have, because there's changes in hormones as you go through the life cycle. So from infancy, childhood, you know, toddler, before childhood, you go to adolescent, the young adults. Now at 30, we are at the mid-age adults, we go to the older adults. Those changes, they come with changes with the hormone balance, the production of hormone also changes. Mm-hmm. So at 30, so many things happen, and maybe I just talk about 2 or 3 of the hormones that really affect the weight loss journey over 30 years. We start with the insulin. So there's an increase in insulin resistance with age. So when you continue, you know, living and continuing with life, now the insulin, there's a resistance in your body whereby insulin that is produced by the pancreas cannot be able to convert glucose into glycogen that is being stored in the body. So there's a problem whereby you have a lot of glucose in your body, which will therefore be converted into fat and being stored in the body. Yeah. So when insulin reduces, the body will have a lot of glucose. So that glucose will be stored as fat. So that happens when people are 30 years and above.
And are drinking sodas.
Yeah,
like
so
me.
When you continue with your daily life, you've been eating the way you've been eating in your 20s. When you continue that way in your 30s, and you know now the hormone is changing, there's a lot of resistance, it means now there's a problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you'll gain more weight. It will be hard for you to lose because now the insulin is not working the way it used to work when you're younger. So that is where the problem comes. That is just one of the hormones. You have also the growth hormones, whereby now they reduce. People are not growing when they are 30 years and above, so we don't need the growth hormones. So the pituitary glands, they don't produce a lot of the growth hormones. So when the growth hormones are not there, the muscle mass is not there. And the muscle mass is what is used to burn the calories. So when you continue to eat normally, the way you've been eating in your 20s, in your 30s, it's different because now you don't have enough muscle mass. It's decreasing. So you have a lot of calories in your body. Therefore, it will be converted into fat. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of fat. Yeah. You're gaining weight. It's hard for you to lose, and you're continuing with the same diet, you know. Yeah, and one more is about the premenopausal and the menopausal stage, you know. So when you get to that stage, that starts from 30 to 45 thereabout, that there is a decrease in the estrogen production in the ovaries. So with decrease of estrogen in the ovaries, there's a lot of fat deposit in the belly area. Therefore, women over 30 they have a lot of weight and it's hard for them to lose. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was so well explained. So, which comes to real life experiences, Dr. Julie Oseko, thank you so much for joining us today. And we applaud you on your weight loss journey. Kindly share with us, what is your story? What was the motivation behind it? And what are some of the challenges that you've experienced?
Thank you very much for inviting me to the show. I appreciate. And I love to share my story.
Yes.
And my story goes a long way back to my childhood. When I grew up, I was born obese, okay? So I was an obese child. So I did not realize it until I started going to school. And then we were playing, and then I could see nobody wanted me to be in their team. And we used to play kati and bladder, and I can't lift my leg, I can't run, I can't push the normal childhood plays in the estate. So I could see that, I became aware of it because I could see that nobody wanted me on their team. Everybody selected the thin ones, me, no, I was always left there sitting. So it became apparent, there's something wrong, because then you have to see it in the negative. Yes. So as I continued growing up and then went to standard 1, standard 2, standard 3, then came the, other than just being ignored, now came the bullying. Okay, so you felt you're being bullied, you're too fat, if you disagreed with somebody, or you're ugly, or you can't do this. So it was just a negative of you can't. It's just, you live a life of you can't. You go home, you're the one who is eating the most. Okay, so everybody says, leave the food for Julie. You know, she's eating a lot, okay? So it was not something that was really nice. And so what really made me feel it is when one day I was unwell and I had to be taken to hospital, and the person who was carrying me, I was so heavy and I was not holding properly. Then he just told me, you know, you're as fat as a hippo. Then I looked at it, I said, okay, I'm as fat as a hippo. I hadn't even conceptualized what a hippo was, but I'm supposing because we grew up on the lakeside in Kisumu, that was the fattest thing we would see. So I started going to the lake, and I started going to look at hippos in the lake, and I used to look at them, and they were not nice. They were just fat and ugly, and they just come out in the evening, and they just eat, you see? So I started having the self-confidence issues. It started affecting my class. I could put up my hand in class to answer questions. So I knew the answer, but I just didn't want people to see me, because every time I reflected on the hippo I saw yesterday, actually went there very faithfully every day to look at them, and I didn't see anything beautiful in them. So my father was my best friend, so I had this discussion with him, and I told him, why, Daddy, why am I ugly, and why am I fat? Because all my siblings were small. So he's the one who started encouraging me, don't listen to them, you're beautiful at heart. Beauty is not just about how you look at, it's about your heart and who you are. So he told me, Julie, you know, you also you will need to be somebody in future. And I can see you're going to be great. So he used to tell me, the body is the body, you can change it, God made it that way. But then he told me, why don't you just concentrate on studies. So I concentrated on studies. So when people were playing, nobody wanted me in my team. Me, I was there reading. I was doing my homework and I was revising. And this continued until I passed my standard 7 with flying colors. Then I started becoming somebody. Then I said, okay, so it's not about the body. You can be a person. I went to 4th form. I passed. When I was an adolescent, then I had problems. The boys didn't want me. I was not that girlfriend, you know? I was not those small ones that were walking around. I was just fat. So you see nobody was complimenting me, okay? So I still continue to believe that I was not beautiful. And you know, when a lady at that age is being told you're not beautiful, you can't attract the males, and it was like, okay, this is not gonna work. So I had no boyfriends until I reached university, because they just rejected me, you know? So it went on until we went to the university. Then when I reached there now, at that age, maybe 21, 22, you start shaping out. Yeah, so I have this figure 8 now. And then now university, the guys are like, hey, see I'm standing super. Like, seriously? And I never believed them. Yeah. Trust me. You tell me I'm beautiful, it's like, why are you cheating me?
What do you want?
What do you want? Yeah, you want to sleep with me? That's all you want from me. I didn't even feel like, because that's the age when people are exploring their sexuality. So I never did it. And I just never believed them. I just concentrated in class with my, because I went to do law. And that's the reason why I did law. Because I'm a lawyer by profession, I'm an advocate. So I was looking for that thing that has power, that thing that will protect me from all this fear and injustices that are being placed on me. So that is one of the reasons why I chose law. And I excelled in it, and I have 3 degrees in it now. So in my mind, I kept on pushing and pushing. So those were some of the challenges that I faced as a child. Confidence issues. And as a young girl, up to point of adulthood, it can be debilitating. Yeah. So, and sometimes it's something that is traumatic, so it goes into you. And even now, everybody's like, oh, she looks so young. She looks so beautiful. And it's like, really?
Yeah, people always downplay the impact of some of the traumatic things that actually happen, or some of the words that people tell people when they're children. And that is why sometimes it's always so important for somebody to be cognizant about how you converse, or what words you tell kids. Because at that point that they are sponges. So now, Doctor, you have told us about the childhood. What was your aha moment? Where was the epiphany where you said, you know what, you've struggled with it long enough, and now you know what, maybe I need to do something about it? You've thrived, you've excelled in the professional world. What was that moment for you?
Once I became a lawyer, and then now I said, okay, I'm somebody, so I could stand up on my own. That was okay. I didn't mind. By that time I had read, okay, I had read on social media, I read books to just make me know that is not a big issue. Then I also saw other people, other ladies who were like that. Yeah. So it went on, I gave birth to my kids. Then my moment came much later, much later. I'm not less than 50. I'm not less than 50.
You don't look it.
So it came much later, when now I started growing older, okay, 45, 47, 48. And then I had this weight, which was about like size, I was clothes size 22, 22. And I was about 100. 100, I pointed to, I was 105. And then I started realizing my knees were not holding. So I'm just fine, but when I climb stairs, the weight on my knees. At that particular time, my daughter, Eva, had become a nutritionist. She was actually in college. So one day I told her, hey, you are my doctor. Tell me, why am I having all these issues? So Eva told me, Mom, it's because of your weight. And she says, because you are now growing a bit older, and at this point you may have some lifestyle diseases, you will bring diseases to yourself, and you will die early. Of course, I didn't want to die early.
Of course.
So I decided, what am I going to do? So she had just gotten into university in the UK, and she came back. And so I decided, okay, she's a nutritionist. She can help me.
Yes.
Let me help her. Yeah. So I took her to Nairobi Hospital and talked to another nutritionist called Dr. Alice. And I told Alice, take in my daughter. She's very keen on this. Little did I know that the stories that I used to tell my kids, because I talk to them a lot as they grow up, because they were also like me, not in that way I was, but they were also voluptuous. So I didn't know that the stories I was telling her from my childhood had influenced her, actually.
Her decision to become
a nutritionist. The dad wanted her to be a doctor. And you know how dads can be sometimes, like, this is what you must be, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer.
Yes.
Okay? To the point where she just went and did her own, she just went to school, she was going to Brookhouse, she just went there and wrote nutrition. And we didn't know until the lecturer called us and told us, this child is being difficult. Then she told me, Mom, your story, I've lived with you, I know what it is. I think, and you have come up, you have made it, you're a great mother. I really want to go into this profession where I can also help other people. So she is one of the people who actually started supporting me as a student. So she started telling me what you eat, what to do, how to reduce that weight. But I didn't have so much discipline, and she was not near me because she was in the UK, and most of the times I was here. So she told me, Mom, why don't you take a sport? Find a sport which you like. I told her, but Eva, which sport would I like? You know, fat people don't run. So I'm not into volleyball, into hockey, into netball, into this fast things. Then just when I was posted to, but I didn't say this, but most of my working life, I have been a magistrate. So we get posted from one station to another. So I was posted to Malindi. So I was the chief magistrate of Malindi, and it's a small town. Yeah. So in that town, as a judicial officer, most of the times you lead a very sedentary life. Yes. We start sitting from morning, we sit all the way up to 10 or maybe midnight, writing judgments at night and doing all this kind of stuff. Then my weight now came, because I now moved to Malindi, and then now I was eating a lot. I think something to do with the weather and food. The
weather, and of course being in the coastal environment, it encourages you want to snack a lot.
So I blew up to 22. I had to be looking for a wardrobe. I said, no, I'm not going to look for a wardrobe. I'm going to fit in these clothes. Yes. I'm going to try and fit. I'd rather slim my clothes than buy new clothes. And that is when I stumbled in, because I tried the gym. So you go to the gym, you are doing your cardio. And then there's a guy seated next here, another one is here, and they tell you, how are you, madam? I know you, I have a case. You get the point.
Oh, dear.
So tomorrow, I'm out. Yeah. So I'm trying to look for a place where I can do something, but what I am doing can still fit with the type of life that I have. Yes. That's when somebody told me, Julie, there's a golf course here, why don't you go and start playing golf? I said, it's expensive. He says, no, it's not expensive. And in golf, I said, can I play golf alone? Alone, without anybody telling me, madam, and asking me the cases that they have and how they want me to assist them, and, you know, following you. And, you know, when people have problems, it's natural. You can't blame them. Yeah, they just want help. So it's when I started playing golf. And that was the turning point.
And that's 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, that was the turning point. Yeah. So playing golf very consistently.
Wow.
I started playing alone, then I ended up being comfortable with other people. Yeah. I've been playing it for 3 years, and I've moved from 110 and now at 79, 80.
Wow, I think that deserves a round of applause. Wow, because we're talking about 110 all the way to 80, and that is to show you it does not really matter whether it's 10 kilos, 5 kilos, like I was saying earlier. Every milestone is worth celebrating. You know, thank you so much for that, Dr. Oseko. Now, Mercy, in light of what Dr. Oseko has just shared, because for her, you know, aside from the biological aspect, because, you know, she was born a certain way, but the rest of her family, so maybe we do not want to narrow down on genetics and say, you know. So aside from the biological aspects that Millicent explained earlier, what are some of the hindrances to unsuccessful weight loss?
Thank you so much for the invite. I'm excited to be here. And the hindrances, apart from biological, I would say it's mostly the mindset. And the challenge we have recently is maybe due to social media influence. People think that weight loss should be a pap thing. Like you'll see that they're selling maybe weight loss tea, lose weight within 2 weeks. But come to think of it, it's not realistic, because it has taken you years to gain that weight. And as she has said, there's some biological, scientific reasons for that. So your mind should know that you should have a strong why, a strong reason why you want to lose weight. I think understanding the perspective that this is good for your health, you want to do this to avoid lifestyle diseases, like maybe to avoid lifestyle diseases, early death and all that, avoid diseases, and just to understand that you are doing this for you, not because of social influence from maybe a friend. Just because a friend lost weight, all of a sudden you want to wake up and lose weight. And I always say that understand that as much as you are big, there's some beauty in it. Because I've seen women who are big and curvy, as she said, when she reached high school.
She's very curvy, by the way, you know, just sharing it, you know, very voluptuous. Yeah.
Exactly, and I think the society has put it that beauty, you have to be like tiny, 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 like the models, like really tiny with the bones protruding here. So what I tell my clients is, yes, weight loss is important, according to your body size and your weight and your needs, but also being big. As long as you're healthy, it is not that bad. It's not a death sentence. And also accepting that it took me time to gain this weight. For example, maybe if you are a breastfeeding mother, you will have to eat, and it's you are getting this out of a good thing. You've been feeding a human being, for heaven's sake.
Yes.
Like doing exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months. You have to eat, and understanding that it's a season and giving yourself that time. And what does this, it's like it releases the stress, because people want pap results and it doesn't work. What happens? You get more stress. The more cortisol you have, the more weight you gain. So it becomes a circle.
Thank you so much, Dr. Seko, and we wish you all the best on your weight loss journey. We definitely commend you on the effort that you have put in, and we hope that our audience at home can learn a thing or two from you. So speaking of which, in light of what Dr. Seko has said on her story, you know, we mentioned about the biological aspect, which, you know, Millicent very diligently explained. There are certain things that are non-biological that can attribute to the, you know, to the success of a weight loss journey. What are some of the factors that hinder this success that are not biological? Mercy?
Thank you so much for the invite. I'm glad to be here. And the non-biological aspect, there are several, but let me point on mostly the mindset, your reason, your why for losing weight. It's really very important, because this is your drive, this is your motivation, this is your everyday reason to even drive you to do proper nutrition and that exercise. And I would like to mention mostly on the wrong mentality that we see mostly on the media. They put weight loss as a simple, easy thing. Like you'll find they're talking about take this herbal tea, slim tea, and within 2 weeks you've lost weight, which is somehow, so somehow unrealistic, because as she has said, the biological part of course affects it, and it has also taken you like years to gain the weight. So there is no way that all of a sudden you can lose it. And also understanding the reason that when you want to lose weight, apart from the look good and the feel good, it's also very important for your health. You really want to avoid lifestyle diseases like maybe arthritis, as you said, her bones. So I think that is a better drive for you. And once you understand that, this will give you more reason to be consistent. Because it's all about the discipline, it's about consistency. It's about being able to do it for you, not because of peer pressure or just because maybe you want to copy what somebody is doing. You have to do it for yourself and appreciate the fact that this will take some time, and that even before you attain your goal, where you are, for most of us, honestly, from my clients, they're not that so big. They are curvy and nice, and you say, yes, maybe you need to lose weight, it is a good thing, but it's not like a death sentence that now you end up stressing yourself so much, not sleeping. You understand that this takes time, and give yourself time. And I always say, let your main goal be to be healthier. Because the moment you focus on the weight and 1 month goes and you're not losing, you get demotivated. You get demotivated, you get stressed. The more stressed you are, for some people, stress actually makes you gain weight.
Absolutely. It's one of the reflexes, you know, that people find that there's even a whole thing about stress eating. Yeah. And I know I'm a stress eater myself. Yeah. So if you're feeling stressed and whatever, you want to nibble on everything. Mm. One time we'll invite a mental health specialist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist who will explain to us what is the interrelation between stress and eating. Yeah. I know there are people who will drink, other people will eat, you know, all of that. Mm. So now speaking about, I like what you pointed out about the mindset and having realistic expectations. I believe everybody always wants a shortcut. I think everyone has always been tempted. Nobody wants to be in the gym 47 hours, you know, a day. We don't like discomfort. We surely do not like discomfort. You know, you want to sit down, you want to enjoy yourself, you don't want to change your routine, and you want to see the weight dropping. So I think that is the mindset that most of us have, you know. You want instant gratification. Your focus at that particular moment is, I want to look good. But if your focus, like you're saying, is diverted to, I want to be healthy, I want to be around for my children, I want to have energy to be able to play with my kids, then I think that's a very good focus. So when we're still talking about weight loss journeys, also joining us is Aisha. Aisha Prudence, she's a weight loss warrior. She has dropped a couple of pounds in the past couple of months, or is it years? She'll tell us a little bit more about that and what got her motivated into getting, you know, involved in, you know, what prompted her to make these lifestyle choices. So, Aisha?
Thank you so much for having me. My weight loss journey started back on 2020. I started working for myself, like self-employed, but the fact that it was not catching up, so I was so stressed. The only thing I could do was eat, watch TV, look at the phone if I'm getting any client, but I was not getting. So another thing was me going to the market. The market is just near, but by the time I get back home, I'm sweating a lot, and I didn't want that, and I was living on first floor. And another day was when I was creating content and my skirt was not fitting. And the way I loved that skirt, and I looked in the mirror and was like, itumbo inaanguka tu. So I took a picture that day. I remember I still have that photo. I took a photo and I said from next week, I'll start working out. So that's when I went and enrolled in the gym. I started working out slowly by slowly. Every day I could check on the weighing scale if I've lost anything, but nothing, there was no change. So my trainer told me that you might not see the change on the weighing scale, but you might see the change on the clothes that you are wearing. So I could see there's an inch at least, and plus I had to cut sugar. Yeah, sugar also helped me in losing my weight till date. So I started working out last year, July, till date. I was 72 kgs, now I'm 65 kgs.
Oh wow, congratulations.
Thanks so much.
And a round of, how do you stay fit? How do you stay consistent? Because I know the dieting part and the watching your nutrition, that one for most people is not too difficult. The waking up and going to the gym part, you know, can I get an amen? That one is where I think most people struggle with. How do you keep your motivation continuously to go to the gym? How many times a week do you work out?
I work 5 times a week.
Wow.
So I have this friend who is like a pro, let me say like a pro. So she's the person who gives me the motivation. When I go to the gym, we work out with her. If it's raining, knowing it's raining, I'm like, I'm not going to the gym today. I'll just, when I see her call, I'll start packing my stuff.
Wow, so it's a perfectly lined support structure. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Aisha, and we really do wish you all the best in your journey. One final question before we go on break. Millicent, we've been touching a little bit here and there about genetics. So what role does genetics play in weight, especially if you're predisposed to obesity? How effective can a diet or weight loss efforts be if you're genetically disposed to being big? We have families where, because everything else we've talked aside, you know, we have families where they've been big, you know, all through time, and this genes. So what role does genetics play in this, and how efficient is a weight loss efforts?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Diet and weight and exercise is very important, even with the genetics. For example, when the family parents, they're obese, and then they're giving birth to a baby, you know, themselves, they know that they have a challenge with weight. Their parents had a challenge with weight, but most of the people nowadays, they don't care about their children, you know. They just feed them whatever they feed them. They don't take nutrition very seriously. Diet and exercises will only help when it is early diagnosed, and then you start on it earlier, during the predisposal stage. So when you wait later in life, the obesity, when the obesity now comes in, now it will be hard for you. It will be even harder. It can happen, yes, but it will be harder for you even when you do diets and you do exercises. Yeah, so what the diet can only help when we are doing it during the predisposal time. So when we know that our family has this type of condition, any other condition, not just obesity, even diabetes, even hypertension, hypertension, and all the other conditions. If we start earlier, if we diagnose it earlier, we know that this is the condition and this is in our family line. So you start earlier with the other generation. So they start eating less, they start being more active, they will be different. But if you wait and you just sit there, we don't care about it, and we know that our family is this way, then it will be hard for you later on when you start trying. Now it will be harder to lose weight, it will be harder even to maintain the exercises because you'll get demotivated. You'll be like, this is just our thing. You know, some people just say, ini yetu, and then
sisi kwetu ni wadogo,
yeah,
sisi
sisi kwetu
wote.
tuko
So
hivyo.
tutakaa tu hivyo.
Yeah.
So what you're
Yeah.
saying is, it is important if, you know, and I believe in some cases, no, and I could be completely wrong by this, but I believe in certain cases you can be able to note if it's genetically passed. You know, once you know how your grandmother or your grandparents look, so you can be able to note. So perhaps it may not particularly take a rocket scientist, but I'm saying then again I could be wrong. And starting to apply, you know. I loved what Dr. Oseko said, where she did mention and she did note, you know, she's voluptuous, and she knew if she was going to get girls and daughters, and, you know, and I do know her daughter is also equal, you know, voluptuous. So it is important to instill in them from when they are young age, so that it becomes a pattern. And I'm so proud of you because she's walked in your path, and now she's a nutritionist. So you can believe that generations and generations to come will be continuously cognizant of the fact that perhaps, you know, but they could be wrong, there's a predisposal to perhaps a condition that would make it difficult to lose weight. So let's take a short break on that particular note, and then we'll be right back after the break with the question and answer session. Thank you so much. Welcome back to my favorite part of the show, which is the question and answer session, where the panel gets to interact with our interactive audience. So to start us off on the question and answer session, we have Cynthia. Cynthia has a question for our panelists.
So a question to Dr. Julie. I've really loved your story. So what do you do to be consistent with the golfing regime that you started?
Oh, thank you very much for that question. And it's a very important question because having come all the way from my childhood up to this age where I have reached, really I've tried everything, okay? Like Ellen have said, that I've also gone through those detox. Trust me, I did everything. I know how to lose weight. I can detox. I even went to some Chinese who gave him some tablets, and I did what? It went down, but then the clinic closed, and then what happened? So this is something that a journey I have walked. So when I make those decisions to stay fit and to stay healthy and to stay with that weight, I've made a decision which is informed. So what I have done is that I'm still working with my daughter. She chases me, she tells me, you will never grow fat again. So she works in this clinic called Diversity. It's on 5th Ngong Avenue. I revisit them frequently. They test me, they check me, they assist me to manage my weight. Because if you just sit in the house and you say, I'm going to do this, in life you will always slip back. Yeah, so I'm working with them on my weight management, and also I've decided to pick a sport. Which takes care of consideration of my age. Okay, I can't jump on hockey, I can't jump on volleyball. Golf, I've picked it because it's one of those sports that you will play golf until you are 100. We have 100-year-old people, 90s, 80s on the course, and it keeps them very firm and fit. So that is the sport I have settled on. And also at this point in my life, I'm not too busy running around like the young girl. I have to fit something that fits my age. So golf, it's about you walk and you hit the ball, you go up the hill, you go down. I play 4 hours. If it's a full course, I play like 4 hours a day. Like yesterday, I started playing at 12. I finished at 6. We were just walking. You're making friends. You network,
Talking, interacting.
you talk, you interact. At this point in time, it's important also to network, make new friends. Okay, so
Yeah.
it is a sport that is easy. It doesn't. I've never had an injury for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's very addictive. So now, and it is now a lifelong sport. It's part of my life. I plan for it. I know I'm going to play Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday.
Okay.
And I brought all my kids are also playing golf. Okay.
Yeah.
And even the smaller ones, they're starting to play golf. So you make it something you can do, part of a family bonding, and also just doing things together. So that is how I intend to keep it lifelong. I hope I play golf until I'm 90 or 100, God willing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, that's a fantastic answer. I think at the end of the day, it is the consistency is finding what you love, which one we started saying, finding what you love, finding what works for you and completely gets assimilated into your day-to-day routine so that it becomes second nature to you. Thank you so much. The next question, we have another question that is coming from Sharon.
Yeah, my question goes to Mercy. So Mercy, I'm asking like, what is the more effective between nutrition and diet or exercise?
Oh, wonderful. That's actually a very, very good question, and people struggle with that most of the time. You know, is it versus or is it with? So versus nutrition and diets versus exercises, which is more effective?
Thank you for the question. Weight loss is mostly 70 to 80% nutrition and the rest exercise. But on nutrition, you really need to understand and have the knowledge to know what you are eating, at what time, and how. It's all about the balance. Like for example, you need to understand your portion according to your weight and your height so that you meet your calories. So for example, you would want to eat less. If you want to lose weight, you need like 1,000 less calories than what is you need. And then also you need to understand what time to eat. Like for example, you might need to reduce carbohydrates and sugary foods at night. And also you need to have a proper understanding and knowledge of proper nutrition, because the problem is many people starve themselves in the name of losing weight. And yes, you will lose, but you cannot retain it. You really need to find something that is sustainable for you in terms of your meal plan, something that, a plan that can work even when you're not at home, maybe you're at a restaurant. So it really needs, you really need to have that proper knowledge of like what foods are proteins, for example. Like many people think beans is full proteins, but beans is protein and carbohydrates. So, so you need to understand the types of foods. You need to understand what time to eat what and the spacing. Like the fasting is good, but if you fast for too long again, you are denying your body proper nutrition. Yeah, and
so what you've said is the 70 to 80% is on nutrition,
yeah,
and the 20% is exercises.
Yes.
So basically you're saying for the whole encompassing, for health and fitness, you have to find a balance for both of them.
Yes.
You know, so one cannot work without the other. I think those are powers of wisdom. I think even I've learned that. So I think it's important to know that for you to be able to attain your health and fitness goals or your desirable weight goals, you have to incorporate both, but with special emphasis, especially on the nutrition, what you're consuming, what you're putting into your body. That's good. Well, Aisha, kindly let us know, because there's different types of body images. There's negative body image and positive body image. As a content creator, social media is your office. What role does social media play in how we look at ourselves and what we consider beautiful and what we don't consider beautiful? What role does social media play?
With social media, what I can say, it can break you if you allow it to break you. Because you can go on, let's say like Instagram, you see these fine ladies, so curvy. flat tummy and all that, you look at yourself and you start hating yourself, which is a bad thing. Or maybe someone just from nowhere decides to comment bad on your photo or video and all that, which has ever happened to me. I felt bad, but I had to just brush it off and say, like, I love myself. You just have to tell yourself, I love myself. You might not be like loving how you look like, but you know you can do something. So what I would say is, if you allow social media to break you, it will break you. Yeah.
But you have the choice.
You have the choice.
Yeah.
You have the choice to change how you look, as it has been said. With the physical appearance, you can change. So you can hit the gym, nutrition and all that, and it will be very helpful in terms of health-wise and image too.
And your image and your confidence.
And your confidence.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aisha. I don't know that social media does play a very big role in what we consider perfect, in what we consider the perfect body, in what we consider the perfect posture, the perfect size, etc. And I know, especially for many young people, there's a lot of influence to how they look and how they perceive themselves that is based off social media.
Yeah.
So we see Hollywood, we see this is what this person looks like, and in our mind it's ingrained that that is the picture of health. And that has been, and I think as parents, as guardians, as role models in society, we need to insist that the children and the young ones focus on what is inside more than what is outside, understanding what their value is and what they bring to the table and their worth, over and above their weight and all these other matters. So we shall be taking our last question of the day, which comes from Nancy.
Okay, I don't know who to answer this question. I'm asking on, okay, I've been trying to lose weight, but I'm defeated because I have a special problem in my back. There's a lumbar disc. So when I try to do exercise, I feel pain. So it hinders me, so I don't do any. So I'm asking, which type of exercise should I be doing?
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, and that's a very good concern, because there are people with, physical ailments, certain things that will hinder them from any physical assertion on their body, and we don't want to create more problems. So, can you be able to take that?
Yeah, let me say something.
Yes.
Okay, so, people have different conditions, and what I can tell you is there are also different types of exercises. Yeah, so I don't know if you can walk around or you can do very lightweight, the lightest. But also, as she has said, 70 to 80% of weight loss is nutrition. Have you tried nutrition? Have you tried going there fully, trying to be consistent? Actually, consistency is something, because Julie said she remained consistent in diet also, apart from the exercises. So what I can tell you is you try first with diet, and then you'll get the exercise that you will do that will not cause more problem. Yeah, we have very light exercises. You need to get maybe someone like Mercy who will help you to get the lightest exercises that you can do, even if it's just walking around, just moving, not just sleeping the whole day because you're sick or because of something. Yeah, so I think you can try that.
Thank you so much. I hope that was helpful to you, Nancy. So we have come to the end of today's very interactive, very informative, and very insightful episode of the DADA'S show. So before we leave, here are my 2 cents. A healthy body image and self-esteem start in the mind and not in the mirror. Work on changing how you understand your value and your worth. Take time to actually identify some of your individual qualities and strengths that you like, beyond your size, beyond your shape, and beyond your appearance. Always strive to move away from the pressure of looking for this mythical body that we always see on social media, in our communities. Focus on who you are. Focus on the qualities of yourself that you actually like. And once you know this, then everything else will, it will be a cherry on top. So it's always important to remember that your body is the life vessel that will carry you till the end. So it's important to love it, to appreciate it, and to cherish it. So on behalf of my production team at KBC, our fantastic location partners, the Boma Hotel, and myself, Ashiko Mbune, I want to thank you for joining us, and we will see each other same time, same place next week on the DADA'S show. Asante sana. Bye-bye.